Well, Wycombe then, Darren, had a fantastic start to the season, going really, really well.
Yeah, credit to them. They've only been beaten once. They've beaten some good teams. They're a real handful. The manager's done a magnificent job in the time he's been there. So all credit to him for that.
They've had a real clear blueprint, really, the entirety of the time that Gareth Ainsworth has been there. Are they just doing what they do even better this season?
It's really, really good at what they do, and work ethic's excellent. You're going to have to match that. Desire to win games, to win tackles, to run. They've got that in abundance. So first and foremost, we need to match that. They've got a lot of very good attacking players, 5 or 6 very good and different players. Casket, Fred, Wheeler, Akinfenwa, Smith. You know, if I miss anyone out, I apologise to them. But they've got good attacking players, and clearly with Akinfenwa, he's a real threat for them in terms of his strength and what he does, and he's very good at doing it.
Yeah, it's great as a player where, as you progress in your career and you become more and more experienced, he's having almost his best football right at the back end.
Yeah, I think he's had a very, very good spell in the since he's been there. Managed very well, is a real threat, is a very good player.
And when you're facing a side where they do all of the, I suppose basics isn't quite the right word, but they do all of the minimum expectation really, really well, and they do that week in, week out, you always know it's going to be tough.
You always know it's going to be tough, you know, and regardless of the scoreline, you always know you're going to have to defend, and it's going to be tough. And I think we're doing them, you're absolutely correct, a disservice just to say that's all there. No, they've got some very good players. They've got people that can pass the ball, people that defend. So listen, it's always a difficult game at Wycombe, always is. Even more so given the fact that they're in such a good form, and like I say, they've only been beaten once at Gillingham, so we know we're in for a tough game.
Is Gareth someone you know particularly well? I mean, fantastic that he's been at the club for so long, such a good achievement.
Well, no, when I've come across him, I've always got on very well with him. Barry Richardson, I had it as a goalkeeping coach a while ago here, went and worked with him, and I know Barry well and speak to him, and he speaks highly of him. He's a good guy, and he's done a great job, you know, and given you see how many jobs foreign managers and all the rest get it, you know, it makes you wonder, but it's a job he's done very well.
In terms of fitness ahead of the weekend, everyone all right after Tuesday night, still looking good?
Everyone seems fine. Everyone's come through Tuesday night fine. So yeah, everyone will be fit.
Yeah, when it
comes Thompson won't be fit, sorry.
When it comes to Tuesday, I guess you got everything you wanted really from that game. You'd set out the challenge for the younger players to go and show what they could do, and it was a particularly young side, and okay, you weren't that impressed with the first half, but overall in the context of the game, a really good week, and those lads showing what they can do.
Well, the first half wasn't, and the players know, and not just because it was a young team or whatever, it was just sometimes you get performances like that where one half's not as good as the other, and fortunately we got the benefit of having such a good second half. When you watch it back, it was very, very good in all sort of areas: pressing, passing forward, counter-attacking, possession. It was a very good performance. I was delighted with them second half.
Yeah, and to be fighting on a number of fronts and to be able to use the youngsters. Looking to this weekend, it's been great that the more regular first teamers, if you like, have had the rest and can come back fresh for this game. Yeah,
it was always about utilising the squad, and I think we've done it the right way in terms of the 2 cup matches. We've won them both, we've had clean sheets in both. We've used the ones predominantly that, well, certainly on Tuesday, that haven't been playing on a regular basis, and they've done very well. Apart from that first half, they've done very well in a game and a half, I have to say, and I've been pleased with them. You know, you had some players making their debuts. Cartwright did well, Barker did well, young Ricky came on and was very good. So there was a lot of bonuses and positives to take out of Tuesday night, and that's what we want to see. You know, we've made the decision to go with a fairly young squad, but I think we're now seeing the benefits of that. Yeah, it must have been fantastic to have the academy players on the bench on Tuesday, because the temptation, I guess, would have been there to do more of a Northampton and maybe have more of the first teamers to dig you out if necessary, but a great vote of confidence to have the kids there. Yeah, I felt it was the right game to do it, in terms of I didn't think we were going to suffer through physicality against Arsenal, because they were young and they're all, but the way they play, the technique they play between the lines, energy, pace. So I felt going with the younger ones on the bench, and also they deserve it. Some of them have done very well in the youth team. we keep a close eye on that, and they've been doing well. So they fully deserve to be part of it and see what it's like. Young Ricky will be with us again on Saturday. So there's some good ones in there.
Have you got a nice battle now developing at left back between Dan Butler and Fraser?
I think we've got battles all over in terms of it's not just as clear cut as maybe it looks from the outside, the players playing. Certainly that's one position that there's a real battle on. When Thompson gets fit, him and Mason will have a battle on. So there's different areas on the pitch, and players do know that when you see the second half on Tuesday, that it's good to keep them on their toes and know that if players are not at it, and there's a chance some other people will come in, and that's how I want it.
With your front three, of course, there's been so much talk about the three of them and the goals they've scored. In particular for Mo, coming to a new club and then having the slow start in the opening couple of games, to have found his feet so firmly and to be on such a roll, presumably that's particularly impressive?
It is. He's a lovely lad. It took him a little bit longer than others, but then I suppose you could say we were slow starters as a group, as a team. I think he found it tough to maybe cope with the intensity of certain things, and also a young boy coming that did ever so well, at Cheltenham, and then got a big move to Bristol. He hasn't played a massive amount of money. He's only young, and came for a lot of money. He's got the temperament and the sort of the character to deal with that, but perhaps it just took him a little bit of time to get used to things. I certainly feel that once we went to the Diamond has helped, because it does suit him, and he's struck up a very good partnership with Ivan, I have to say. Yeah,
and you were saying over the summer that he's a striker that can bring a little bit of everything to the table, and we're really starting to see that now. He's a proper all-rounder.
Yeah, we need to give him good service. If you're going to just pump balls up to him, he's not going to be any good for us. If you're going to play straight balls into him against centre halves, he needs to play off people. He needs to run behind them. He needs to play on the side of them. But his movement, and I thought he was our best player against Wimbledon. I thought he was very good. Indeed.